Did you know that over 1.2 million seniors might soon face a major change when it comes to their benefits? What if I told you that the DWP is planning new checks on your bank accounts that could impact your daily life without you even knowing it? Are these new measures something you should worry about, or are they just a passing phase? What's even more shocking is that these checks aren't just about fraud, they could affect how quickly you get the benefits you rely on. But here's the real question: are you prepared for the changes that might come to your account soon? Could this new scrutiny cause unexpected problems, or might it actually make things easier for you? As you know, your benefits are a lifeline, but are they really safe? And with these new rules on the horizon, what do they mean for your bank accounts, especially if you've been receiving benefits for years? How will the DWP decide who gets checked, and more importantly, who will escape the net? I'm David, and in today's video, we're diving deep into this new development that's shaking up the benefits system. But hold on, before you start worrying too much, let me walk you through what's really going on and what you can do to make sure you're not caught off guard. Should you start preparing your bank accounts now? Or is this just another scare? Stick around to find out exactly what the DWP is planning and how it could affect your benefits in the near future. If you're a senior or know someone who depends on benefits, then today's topic is absolutely crucial. You've probably heard about the DWP, Department for Work and Pensions, and the way they manage benefits payments, but what you might not know is that they're about to introduce a new system that could directly affect you, especially if you've been relying on those payments for years. Now, I know that changes like this can sound overwhelming, but it's important to understand what's coming, and more importantly, what you need to do about it. First off, let's talk about the numbers. Over 1.2 million benefit claimants are going to be affected by the DWP's new system of checks. This is no small number, and these aren't just any random checks, they're aimed at reviewing bank accounts of those receiving benefits, with the goal of cracking down on fraud and ensuring the system remains sustainable. But, of course, when it comes to any kind of change in the system, especially one involving something as personal as your finances, it's only natural to feel a little concerned. So, what exactly is going to happen? To put it simply, the DWP is going to start examining the bank accounts of benefit claimants more closely. They will look for certain activities or discrepancies that might suggest fraud or other issues. For instance, if you have money coming in from sources that don't match up with your declared income, or if your bank account is showing a pattern of activity that doesn't align with the benefits you're receiving, that's going to raise some red flags. The idea is that this will help the DWP spot fraud early and ensure that taxpayers' money is being used properly. However, there's a catch. The DWP doesn't just want to focus on people who are actively receiving benefits, they're also interested in those who may no longer be on benefits but still have unclaimed funds or are self-employed. This could affect a lot of seniors who might be living off a pension or other income but still receive some form of government support. The key here is that even if you're no longer on benefits, if you still have money coming in, the DWP might look at your accounts to ensure everything is above board. Now, this is where it starts to get a little more concerning, especially if you have any income outside of your regular benefits. If you're self-employed or working part-time, the DWP might view this as income that could affect your eligibility for certain benefits, like universal credit. They want to make sure you're not receiving more than you're entitled to. The problem is, this process could potentially be invasive, with the DWP requesting detailed information from your bank, including transaction records. While the goal is to catch fraud, it also opens up the possibility that seniors could be affected by these checks, especially if there's an unexpected source of income or a mistake in the system. The big question is, how does this affect you? How do these checks impact your daily life? Well, for starters, the DWP can start directly reclaiming funds from your bank account if they find that you owe money due to an overpayment. This could be a significant concern if you've been receiving benefits for a long time and are no longer in touch with the DWP about your current situation. The DWP wants to streamline this process so they can recover money more quickly without the need for court orders or lengthy legal battles. This is particularly important for seniors who might not be as familiar with the ins and outs of how these changes work. Now, let's address the elephant in the room, the idea that the DWP could start taking money directly from your account. This is known as a direct deduction order. Essentially, the DWP would have the authority to request that your bank take money from your account to pay back any benefits debt you owe. While this might sound a bit alarming, it's not quite as straightforward as it sounds. The DWP will only be able to do this after reviewing 3 months' worth of bank statements to determine if it's financially feasible for you to repay the debt without falling into hardship. In other words, they'll assess your overall financial situation before taking any action. But here's the part that might make some of you breathe a little easier. Before any money is taken from your account, the DWP will have to conduct a review. They'll assess whether taking the money would cause you financial hardship, such as making it difficult for you to cover essential living costs like rent, utilities, or groceries. This safeguard is designed to protect vulnerable individuals, ensuring that the DWP doesn't take money that would leave you unable to meet your basic needs. The next big concern is the impact of these new checks on your relationship with your bank. According to the latest proposals, the DWP could require banks to hand over account information on claimants suspected of fraud. But don't worry, this won't involve handing over your transaction details. Instead, the DWP would only receive basic information such as your name, account number, and date of birth. However, this still raises questions about privacy and data security, especially for seniors who might already be concerned about protecting their personal information. Another issue that has been raised by financial experts is the possibility that these new measures could place a burden on banks, especially smaller institutions that may not have the resources to manage the increased volume of checks. Banks may have to start charging fees to cover their administrative costs associated with processing these requests. While this is still under debate, it's something that could affect you if you're a senior who's already living on a tight budget. The last thing you want is for your bank to start adding extra fees on top of the costs you already face. Now, let's take a closer look at the actual numbers. According to recent reports, overpayments due to fraud have amounted to a staggering £7.4 billion in the past year alone. This accounts for about 2.8% of the total welfare spending in the UK. But that's not all. Another £1.6 billion has been overpaid due to unintentional errors by claimants, and an additional £0.8 billion has been overpaid as a result of mistakes made by the DWP itself. These figures are concerning, and they highlight the need for tighter controls to prevent fraud and error. However, while cracking down on fraud is important, it's equally crucial that these measures don't inadvertently harm vulnerable individuals, especially seniors who may already be struggling to make ends meet. So, what does this all mean for you? Should you be worried about these new checks and deductions? Well, first and foremost, it's important to stay informed. The DWP is planning to roll out these changes gradually, with the full system set to be implemented by 2029. In the meantime, they'll be testing the process with a limited number of banks and building societies. This gives you some time to prepare, but it's still essential to keep an eye on any correspondence you receive from the DWP, especially if you've recently undergone a change in your financial circumstances. One thing that you can do to stay ahead of these changes is to regularly review your bank statements. Make sure that all the income you're receiving is properly documented and in line with your benefits claims. If there's any discrepancy, address it immediately to avoid issues down the road. If you're unsure about anything, don't hesitate to reach out to the DWP for clarification. It's always better to be proactive than reactive when it comes to your benefits. In conclusion, while the DWP's new system of bank checks and direct deductions may sound a bit intimidating, it's important to understand that these changes are designed to protect the integrity of the benefits system. The key takeaway here is to stay informed, be proactive about your finances, and know your rights. If you have any concerns, don't hesitate to contact the DWP or your bank for more information. This may seem like a lot to process, but with the right knowledge and preparation, you can navigate these changes without stress. Keep an eye on your bank accounts, and make sure you're always on top of any correspondence or changes in your benefits status. Thanks for watching, and remember to subscribe to stay up to date with all the latest news on benefits for seniors.